So the reason this is so big for me, this is a full circle moment. I've known Mark pretty much my entire life. I was a kid running around the baseball field where he was a youth coach, and ever since then, he's been there for me through all kinds of wonderful experiences and actually provided me with the opportunity to join the lighting industry and make a career out of it. So this really is a full circle moment, having this opportunity to be here tonight to honor Mark and all of his accomplishments. I'm just forever grateful for the opportunities that you've provided me. It's wonderful. Anyone that has been fortunate enough to call Mark a friend understands that he is the kind of person that will give you the shirt off his back. Again, emotional. And the thing that I think is important there is that Mark has brought that perspective and all of those values with him to work every day. I worked under his leadership for many years, and he really truly brought himself to work every day in the way that he mentored people and the way that he led, just bringing that positivity too. So I had to write this timeline down because Mark has a very long career in lighting. And there was no way I could memorize this. So in June of 1976, Mark earned his Bachelor's of Science in Accounting from the University of Washington. Go Huskies. 2 years later, in 1978, Mark joined Prescolite as their plant accountant and schedule coordinator. So this was important because this was the first time that those roles had been combined. And so he laid the groundwork for that position. In 1979, Mark became Prescolite's warehouse and shipping superintendent, and then quickly within the next year, he earned the role of the director of materials management. And during that time, Mark took courses and earned certifications in production and inventory control. And then also during that tenure, Mark led a program called the Manufacturing Resource 2 project. This project was one of the first successful implementations of MRP2 in the entire world. So this allowed Prescolite to dramatically reduce their inventory while improving on-time shipping to over 98%. With all of that success at Prescolite, they asked Mark to take on a 2-year assignment in Canada. So picked up from California, moved to Canada, and at that time he was in Canada for about 2 years, or about 2 years, from 1986 to 1988. And during that time, their sales doubled twice, and on-time shipments were at over 98%. So once Mark's back in the States, he decides he's not busy enough, and he goes back to school, and in 1987 earned his MBA with a marketing concentration from Cal State University, East Bay. The next big step in Mark's career took place in 1988 when he was promoted to the director of Prescolite Emergency Lighting. In this role, Mark managed the planning and the startup of an emergency portfolio, including the development of all the products, the construction of a dedicated factory, and in the first 2 years, the business grew from 0 to over 20 million. Within 2 years, Mark again was once promoted, this time to the director of Prescolite Marketing. And in that role, he managed the product portfolio for all of Prescolite brands, including down lighting, track lighting, outdoor lighting, controls, emergency lighting, the whole gamut. And so after excelling in that position for 2 years, Mark earned yet another promotion, and this time to the Vice President of Prescolite Operations. And as the VP of Operations, Mark managed all the day-to-day operations of the 8 Prescolite manufacturing locations in North America. And one of Mark's many accomplishments in that role was leading the company-wide initiative to implement lean manufacturing practices in all factory locations. So this was a concept that was still relatively new, and he took that and ran with it and was able to reduce manufacturing costs, delivery lead times, reduce inventory, and improve on-time delivery. In June of 1998, Mark took a big leap of faith, and he joined a small emerging company called Fine Light. Mark was brought in as the Vice President of Operations, and he just hit the ground running. Mark set up all of Fine Light's processes and controls that allowed Fine Light to deliver any size order of any custom configuration in 10 working days or less, and at an affordable price. In June of 2004, Mark joined the IES Progress Report Committee. He served as chair from 2010 to 2012. And to this day, Mark continues to serve on the IES Progress Report Committee. He's on the Library Committee and the IoT Committee, where he has helped to draft multiple recommended practices for those applications. Fast forward to March of 2008, when Mark assumed the role of Chief Operating Officer at FineLight. Mark, at that point, continued the quest for the position, to position FineLight as a benchmark world-class lighting provider in North America. So Mark expanded FineLight's material supply chain to Asia to reduce costs and facilitate the development of LED light engines, electronic drivers, digital controls. And during this time, Mark also helped with research and development of the LED layers of light approach, which was able to reduce the watts per square foot of the connected load to a half a watt per square foot. Mark also drove the creation of the integrated classroom lighting system, and that changed the approach to how classrooms have been illuminated throughout North America. So Mark continued to lead operations at FineLight until his retirement in 2020, but even in retirement, Mark remains involved in the lighting industry via various organizations and forums. So along the way, Mark didn't just help me to kickstart a career in lighting. He's brought a lot of people on this journey with him, whether it was people that he mentored, whether it was the connections he made with vendors and customers, and just supporting every lighting project from every angle that you can think of. He's formed fast relationships, and his contributions have been vast. They've been greatly impactful on people's lives and on our wonderful industry. So Mark dedicated his career to the concepts of continuous improvement, a quest to learn new and better ways of doing things. He's a perpetual student. He's worked in collaboration for the betterment of the lighting industry, and everything that encompasses someone that has earned lifetime achievement recognition. So please join me in congratulating Mr. Mark Benguerel on this much-deserved accomplishment.
Lance stole everything I was about to say. First of all, I wanted to thank Randy again for putting on this wonderful event. I had the honor of being at the first one where we presented to Bill Brown, and I got to speak at that event. And I've had the honor of speaking at a couple of others, a couple of other honorees. And this is an amazing event, Randy, so thank you. I never thought I'd be part of a recipient, and I do appreciate that. So thanks for that to the selection committee. They're great people. They're also icons in the lighting industry. I mean, Nancy Clanton, I've learned so much listening to her speak. Melinda talked about learning, and the selection committee are people that I definitely have learned from over the years. As I look at the faces out there, there's many people in the audience that I've run into in my career. One of those people, Donnie Miller, is out there somewhere. I ran into him on the way to this podium tonight. He was at Prescolite. He was there during the journey as we tried to change that company. And another guy that passed away, unfortunately, I think it was last week. You know, he was also somebody in the industry, Terry Walsh. If somebody knows who Terry Walsh is, you know, he ran Tivoli. Terry and I met each other at Prescolite. Terry was hired to be the IT manager, and I was given the project to implement MRP2 at Prescolite. And so obviously we got to do a lot, well, we actually shook hands a lot, but it was really an amazing experience working with Terry. And so I'd like to raise a glass to him in his honor tonight for being also somebody in the industry that needs to be recognized. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about my career. What I'd like to do is I'd like to thank the people behind it. And again, Lance stole my thunder. It was my family. So I'm lucky tonight. My wife Beth is here. My son Ryan is here. Melinda is like a daughter to me. And my daughter Amy is cheering me on from home, as well as my grandkids. They had to put up with me literally everywhere I go. You know. Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? You walk into a room and, and your family is so mortified and embarrassed. You're at a restaurant. You get up from the table and you go over and look, and you're up in the air looking at, touching things. But thank you, my family, for being such great. And for the rest of you, the reason that I've been so excited about being in this industry and why I still remain energized to be part of the IAS committees that I belong to is all of you. The manufacturer's reps. You always keep me, thinking, what am I going to do next? The architects, the engineers, the lighting designers, the consultants. You make it work, and it's such a small community, really, if you think about it. We're not a huge fraternity, but we're a very tight-knit fraternity, and I'm really proud to be part of that. Very proud to be part of that. So, thanks again, and cheers to all. Oh, one last thing. Submittals are now open for the 2023 progress report. So I need all of you that are manufacturers or know manufacturers that have product that are significant in the advancement of the lighting technology throughout the world. Send your submittal in. It's cheap. It's only $150. So send it in, all right? So once again, thank you very much for being.